Alright, last we saw we took our valve cover off. We're going to go ahead and take our head off, and that's going to be this whole assembly, and we're going to see our combustion chamber, where our fuel is being burned, and basically where all our magic happens. Probably one of the most important parts. Everything needs to be labeled, even what bolt hole our bolt came out of. Okay, so I'm going to start by loosening up all our bolts, just loose, and these are torqued down fairly tight, so I want to use at least my 3/8, and when I go to turn, again I want to have my palm out. Someone needs to hold my engine and my palm out so I don't break my knuckles here.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Make sure we're going counterclockwise to loosen. We have two major sides here, right, Mr. Jerzyk? Two major sides to what's going on here, right?
I think the way that we're going to classify this is our intake valve, because our fuel and air gets brought in through here,
This is where the carburetor came off.
through our passageway here, and then our exhaust valve, because obviously this is our muffler side. So when we label our bolts, we're going to label them upper intake head bolt and lower intake head bolt. Upper exhaust bolt, lower exhaust bolt.
Very important. Here's
Now,
two sides here.
our head bolts are in our valve cover, and we need to be very, very, very careful not to damage anything that's in here. If our valves don't work because something's bent, our engine won't run. So I want to go ahead and crack these loose, and I'm using a 13mm deep well 3/8 drive socket. 6-point, very, very important. We use the 6-point on these bolts. We don't want to round these bolts off. I also have an extension on my 3/8 drive, and then obviously in order to release my tools, I push the button on the back. Okay.
So I'm going to need a few pieces of tape going here because I want to be very organized, and like Mr. Jerzyk said, we have to make sure that each one of these bolts go back exactly where they came out from.
So the first one I'm going to pull out here is going to be my exhaust side lower head bolt.
Exhaust side, where the muffler came off, lower left head bolt. Okay.
If my bolt doesn't come out easily, I can carefully grab it with my needle nose.
This is my head bolt on the exhaust side, lower left. So, head, bolt, exhaust, side, lower left. And you are taking out right now, Mr. Jerzyk, it looks like the intake lower right. Right, so we have our intake because our carb is right here, and that is the right side lower right. I'm going to mark that real good. Intake head bolt lower right. And you just took out, it looks like, the exhaust upper left. Okay, so I'm going to mark that separate, and that's going to be my exhaust head bolt upper left. And last but not least, we have one more to take out, which is my intake upper right head bolt. And what size socket was that again, Mr. Jerzyk?
A 13mm.
13mm 6-point socket. Looks like it's a deep well too, huh?
Mm-hmm. 3/8 drive.
with an extension on there. All right, so this is our intake head bolt upper right.